Hello brothers and sisters, welcome to another episode here on Dangerous African Confessions HD. In this episode, we have the continuation of the story from the pastor who used to be a member of one secret society in Benin. At least from his revelation, that is always the source of all the miracles that he performed when he was actively in ministry. It is disappointing and disheartening when sometimes you hear some of these news and rumors about the people who carries the titles as pastors and prophets. Sometimes when you hear some of the things they go through to be able to prophesy or to predict things about you when you go them, is so strange. And that is exactly what we have for you today in this episode, about how this pastor together with two other pastors, who traveled to Benin seeking supernatural powers to do their church. This is someone who says his other two friends are doing so great in ministry, and do have huge numbers of congregations that go to their church, thinking they are leading them to the true God. These pastors, I will say from the confessions and revelations that we have and are still coming in, seeks to suggest that they honestly do not have you as a congregant at heart. We do not bring out these confessions and stories on pastors getting themselves involved in some of these things for anything other than to remind you, our beautiful family out there, to be more careful when it comes with your dealings with some of these pastors. In this deep revelation, he talks about how he became a part of this secret society, where he was boiled live as part of his initiation process. Please take note of some of the things that he talks about in this revelation, and start to check if you know some of these pastors that does them. And if you do, all I can say is that you should be careful dealing with them. Without taking much of your time, let us go and listen to what our brother has for us in this contraption episode.
I remember it was Friday when we set off to go to the Benin. Because of how powerful and popular this senior pastor is, crossing over through the borders were not something that was difficult for us. We got to Benin and we rested for a day. We booked a hotel for ourselves for the 2 weeks that we spent in Benin. We first met the people whom we had gone to see the next day. When we met them, there were 3 people that we met at first. That was when we were introduced to them by the senior pastor, who they really knew very well. Now this place where we went, the house was built like a mini temple, if I can put it that way. Because it wasn't big, but it had everything that a temple should have. We were welcomed and the people told us that we were going to go under 3 days dry fasting before we were to meet the main people who were going to lead us to do what we came there to do. The senior pastor, on the other hand, had gone back to this place to offer his yearly sacrifice. This one I will talk about it probably in a different conversation. Let me finish with how we were initiated into this occult group and how I have gotten to in my present state. Then after that I will tell you much more about the senior pastor's yearly sacrifice, which has to do with losing a member yearly as a form of sacrifice to the evil powers that he served. After the 3 days fasting, we were made to walk into a river that was at the back of the temple. This river is like a minute or 2 away from the main temple. I said the main temple because there are other buildings on the compound that serves a different purpose. Now, when we got to the river, it was at dawn around 1 or 2 thereabout. And at this time the moon was very bright in the sky. We were baptized in the river that time. After the baptism, there were some other things that were done at the river bank. We were not wearing anything when we entered into the river for the baptism. This baptism was not an ordinary baptism. It was revealed to us later that we had been married to the goddess in the river. And as her husbands, she was going to make it possible for us to be so much successful, so that we can also perform our duties as husbands. One of my pastor friends asked what we were supposed to do as her husbands after she doing her part. This we were told that the elders will explain to us later when we finally go to the main temple. What we needed to know was what we have been told. That is what this elder told us. Now the man poured some mixture that was in a certain black pot into the water and recited some word. After some few minutes of his recitation, you could practically hear the river roaring like there was some waterfall there. The river started doing like it was a sea, just like how the sea waves comes to the shore. After some few minutes, everything was quiet and the elder told us that everything has been accepted and we are ready for the next phase of our rituals. So in the next morning, we were told to meet the elders who were going to carry us through the next phase of the things we had gone there to do. The 3 of us were ushered into one of the buildings. At this time when we entered that building, nobody was there and the room was just empty with only 3 kings-looking chairs on the room. This is something that really shocked us. When we entered, like I said, there was nobody in the room but chairs. So we were made to go out again and knocked for the second time. When we came in, still there was nobody in the room but only the chairs still. This time, it was only the elder who took us to the river that night that was with us. He then asked us to come out and then knock again. We did just that, and when we entered this time, 2 old men and 1 old woman were seated on the chairs. We were all shocked to see that. Because there was only 1 gate to the room, and that was where we were standing. So if anyone came to the room through the door, we would have known or saw that person. We were made to sit on the floor and had our legs crossed. After this, the elder who took us to the river was asked if everything was done before coming before them. He told them that he has even performed our first ritual by having us tie the knot with the goddess. Hence the reason why he had brought us before them. The woman among them told us that, yes, our sacrifice has been accepted. I looked at the faces of my friends, as they also looked at one another. She continued that, where we have reached as far as our rituals are concerned, there was no way we were going to go back without finishing what was there for us to do. Because once we have started, if along the line and you decide to stop, you will either go mad or meet your death. With this caution, even if it even crosses your mind to stop, there was no way you will ever let it stay there for a second. So she ordered the elder who was with us to bring us the boxes and the pot. When he brought them, we were asked to pick one that we wanted. So we made our choices. Now what happened was that, whatever box and pot you will pick, determines the spiritual powers you are going to have. Like for my sake, I was initiated to prophesy and not as a healer. But my other friend, for whatever reason, had both prophetic and healing. The other one too had prophetic but not healing. Now the water in the pot, we were made to go naked in front of them in the room, and the water was poured on us from our head to our feet. At the bottom of the pot, there was something black in there. We were made to swallow it without knowing what that thing was. Now, the elder was asked to blindfold us. After which some people were asked to come into the room. Mind you, all this while, we were naked. And after some few moments, when these people were asked to come in, we were asked to bend down. I started feeling someone touching me. Then, within some few moments from touching me, he inserted his thing through my back hole. Brother, this was one of the most painful experiences that I have been through. During that period of whoever it was doing that thing to me, it was like my stomach has been set on fire. The kind of heat that I was experiencing in my stomach was so severe. It stopped as soon as the person came inside of me. We were asked to sleep in the room naked with the blind folded. The room was sudden quiet, like no one was there. I didn't ask anything nor talked about anything with my friends. Neither did they also try talking to me. That day, we didn't eat anything till the next day. We spent the entire day without coming out in that room, as quiet as the cemetery. It was when we were out of the room the next morning, and the blindfold were removed, that we asked ourselves what happened. I asked and they said they don't want to talk about it. And for some reason, if they also asked me, that was the exact answer that was in my mind. Remember I said we were given a box and a pot in that room. That day we were told that we will be bringing the pot and box to Ghana to do something with it. That will seal the covenant that we were establishing with that power over there. The man told us that it has left with the last thing to do. And that will fortify us, so that nothing can attack us spiritually. So we were told that we were going to be boiled in water. Brother, honestly my heart did jump when I heard that. But then, the strange thing is that, when the fire and everything was set and the water was put on the fire, this water was in the big barrel. So we were made to go into the barrel whilst it was on fire. This is where the shock was. When you enter the barrel, you feel the burning water very cold whilst you are still standing in it. But when you step out, you cannot put even your fingertip in it without you feeling how hot it is. Brother, there are things out there in different places that people do not know about. So after we were done with the water, we were made to fetch the water from the barrel with the pot that was given to us. And we were to cover it, and then, return to Ghana with it. And when we do return to Ghana with it, the pot that has water in it, we were to bury it on the land where our church buildings were. So, we had to find ways to cover the open of the pot with something that will prevent the water from coming out. The box, on the other hand, had rings in it. The ring had 3 different colors. There was one which was red, another was black, and the other one was blue in color. Each of the rings had its own use. The blue one was the one that I could wear any time that I wanted. But the red and the black, you only wear it when the Spirit comes to you and commands you to wear them. When the Spirit commands you to wear them like that day you should know that you are going to even go deeper than you normally do. And that comes at a cost. So it is not every time that the Spirit do appear. The cost is that something bad will happen to a member of your church. Either death or something strange will happen in their lives. One thing that I know is that my friend whose wife was going to deliver had his unborn child used as a sacrifice for the powers that he went for. So when the wife gave birth, the child was breathing all right. He died a few minutes after his birth. And there are sacrifices that he does every 5 years. He is the one that got both healing and prophetic. Aside that, all of us had this Spirit appears to you sometimes in your dream and sometimes like a trance and sleeps with you. Because it has married you. Remember I told you when we were baptized, we were told that we had been married to the goddess. And this spirit or goddess appears as the face of that old woman that we met in that room. Let me talk about the main temple that we saw there. That main temple is where you will go and renew your vows with the society, and also to the goddess that is the supreme power over there. After everything was done and we returned to Ghana together with this senior prophet, he guided us to do all that was needed for us to do. We organized some heavy program and he graced us all with his presence and did just we had known him for over there. That was when I realized that most of these pastors that goes to certain churches to preach, they only know the kind of bond that is between them. I did my program for 3 days and the other 2 friends also did same. Each of us, this pastor came and ministered to the congregation. We also supported each other. In about some few months, we started seeing the results. My brother, if I tell you that I don't have money, I will be lying to you point blank. But I am not okay in my spirit. Along the line, it kept on coming to me like a voice in my head. The voice started asking me if what I am doing to the innocent people is good in the sight of the Lord. I will brush it off, and it will still come. Right now when I am there, I feel like something is burning in my head and in my body. I want to denounce all that I have been to and doing. But I fear I might see the end of my life. Like I said, I will tell you about my friend and my senior pastor who took us there. But for now, I really need help. I don't know what is happening to me. My wife has been the one ministering in church for some time now. I don't feel right going to the church. Reason I didn't want to mention my name is because of my beautiful and innocent wife. He is not a part of this and knows nothing about my deal. I had not even married her when I did this covenant. I don't want to subject she and our children through the kind of things people would do to them. Please, I need help.
Don't forget to please subscribe, share and like our videos. Kindly hit the notification bell so you will be the first to get notification to our videos when we upload. Like I always say, these are not just stories for story's sake. They are meant for us not to make these mistakes our brothers and sisters are making. That's why we share these stories with you. Whatever we have for our brother who needs help, we will and have started communicating with him behind the scenes to see how best we can help him come out of this thing. And even with that, he will be able to from time to time share with us some of the works of the evil one, which will help us to be cautious of our associations with people and even some churches. So at this point, I would like to hear from you, our beautiful family members. Please let us hear from you. Let's listen to your views and concerns and comments in the comment section. We are going to have series of interviews with our brother, so that even as he is part, he can share with us what really is going on in the dark places where we cannot see, just like he had said earlier. Again, I would like to stress that we do not have any motive, but we are here to help our innocent brothers and sisters to realize what is happening out there, that they do not have any idea about, so that they can make their own decisions going forward in their walk with Christ. The only thing I can say is that, know Christ for yourself. Because it takes you to discover yourself, and nobody else. Let me talk about what really is happening in this generation. Our people and loved ones are gradually being deceived into thinking that the blessings of God is only material things. That is another agenda of the evil one. There is nothing being preached on the pulpits again nowadays, except the fact that only prosperity messages are being spread across. Just for the congregation and the children of the Most High to think that the blessings of the Lord is in material things. Forgetting that wisdom, good health, long life is all a part of the blessings of the Lord. I always say that, know the God your Lord for yourself. And do not see God from someone's perspective. Because you might not know their sources and the kind of things they do behind the scenes before they come and tell you the supposed word of God. We will continue with what our brother have been discussing with us in the next episode. I just hope that we honestly take the important lessons from these stories to better our lives and decisions. I pray that we learn from some of these stories and live a better life. If not for anything at all, it pays to live a decent and better life. Stay blessed and be safe. Thanks for being a part of this growing family. Kindly share your thoughts with us in the comment section below. And if you are new here, please subscribe, like and share.